Hallo en welkom bij de eerste episode van de Dark Tales, Edgar en Poes Murders in the Rue Morgue. Een nieuwe serie van hide-and-seek spellen, gebaseerd op de verhalen van Edgar Allan Poe. Meer horrorverhalen geloof ik, of toch duistere mysterie. Ik weet nog The Cat, vond ik heel leuk. Hoewel ik heel spijtig vond dat die kat overleden is. Ja, als je het niet kent, binnenkort. Ik heb gezien dat dat ook een van de spellen is. De Black Cat. Dus, dat is één dat ik ken. Het kloppend hart. Ken ik ook. En dan is er nog één. Want we hebben al spellen gespeeld gebaseerd op die in zijn verhalen. Maar dat was meer op de achtergrond. Dat is niet zoals nu. Nu gaan we denk ik echt zijn verhalen leren kennen. Ik weet het niet. Ik heb niet de goede gelezen. Ik dacht gewoon, oh, Edgar Allan Poe. Speel. Jammer. Geen voice acting. Waar moet ik zijn? Het is de eerste. Murders in the Rue Morgue. De eerste is Murders in the Rue Morgue. Oké. Dan. On the heels of the incident at the Rue Morgue? Ik weet eigenlijk gezegd niet hoe ik het moet uitspreken. I went to the home of the famed detective, C. Auguste Dupin, hoping he could help solve this crime. The man is known for his keen mind and attention to detail. If anyone could make sense of all this, certain a cavalier of the Legion d'Honneur could accomplish this task. His first test for me was gaining entry to his home. Not surprising, as Dupin has always been fond of enigmas, riddles and conundrums. Sorry dat ik mijn slecht Frans accent begon te praten. Clue. Omdat ik clue nodig heb. Dupin's Voyager is quite nice, though somewhat Spartan. A few paintings and chairs, a fireplace, nothing more. Although open upon his table is a rather unassuming book, the contents of which include a detailed diagram of a scorpion. What could it mean? Hmm. Eh, Afghan. Dat was zeer unassuming, want huh. Bow en een key. Key en nu nog de bow. De meest logische plaats. Good Lord, I scarcely dare to believe my own eyes. While searching Dupin's storage room, a most maleficent looking silhouette appeared just outside the window. Its eyes ablaze, it stopped me momentarily, and it was gone just as quickly. Ugh, man, as quickly as it appeared. What could it want? If Dupin storage room is any indication, he has led an interesting life. It's full of oddities acquired from a life spent solving crimes and mysteries. Most notably, a chest embezzled with a scorpion. The same one as I found in the book earlier. Perhaps the diagram from the foyer will be of help here. Yeah, okay. Once I opened the chest, all that it contains was a small wooden plank that bore the number 0412. Curious that such a robust chest but have within it something so unassuming, though I forgot my whereabouts. With Dupin, there's always a reason. X marks the spot. Een chocoladebonbon. Kost net hetzelfde op zoek als ik die twee ander. Mutrak. Wordt niet gerekend als taal. En twee. Good lord, the man keeps a skeleton in his home encased in a large glass tube. I can't imagine why, but I'm sure he has his reasons. On the glass tube there was a number lock. Not wanting to overlook the obvious, I inserted the code from the chest. To add to my surprise, doing so caused skeleton to animate and hand me a gold bar. Wil ik dat door het raam gooien? Oh, ik heb dat gemist. Oh, dat is goed zo hard. Another bit of fright as I came back into Dupin's foyer. A rock came crashing through the window. It sailed right in front of me and destroyed the face of Dupin. Upon further investigation, the rock had upon its surface rather long and deep scratches. Was that a warning? Shit. Ja, ik heb dat ding geklikt. Een secondje. Ik ben terug. Hmm. Hier moet ik toch iets mee kunnen doen? Hmm. Ah, ik ben terug uitgeklikt. Nou ja, ik moet heel erg iets doen, want ik krijg van alle berichten binnen in één keer. Klein momentje, hè. Tweede roze. Nu werkt het wel. Dus je het toch niet werken? Do you hand me the newspaper now, dear fellow? Okay. This morning, about 3 o'clock, the inhabitants of the Quartier Saint-Roch were aroused from sleep by a succession of terrifying squeaks issuing apparently from the first floor of a house in the Rue Morgue, known to be the sole occupancy of one Madame L'Espagne and her sister Mademoiselle Camille L'Espagne. After some delay, occasioned by fruitless attempt to procure admission in the usual manner, the gateway was broken in with a crowbar, and 8 or 10 of the neighbors entered, accompanied by 2 gendarmes. By the time the cries had ceased, but as the party rushed up the first flight of stairs, 2 or more rough boys in angry contention were distinguished. Wat moeilijke woorden. And seemed to proceed from the upper part of the house. As the second landing was reached, the sounds also had ceased, and everything remained perfectly quiet. A spectacle presented itself which struck everyone present not less with horror than with astonishment. On a chair lay a rose smeared with blood. On the hearth were 2 or 3 long and thick tresses of human grey hair, also dabbled in blood and seeming to have been pulled out by the roots. Madame L'Espagne's body was quite warm. Upon examining it, many were perceived, no doubt occasioned by the violence which it had been thrust up and disengaged. Upon the face were many severe scratches, and upon the throat dark bruises and deep indication of fingernails, as if the deceased had been trodden to death. Mademoiselle Camille L'Espagne was not in the house. To this horrible mystery there is not as yet, we believe, the slightest clue. Madame L'Espagne's fate is certainly a tragedy, but the newspaper article seems to be missing something. There is nothing else to be learned here. Let's move on. The coach has arrived to take us to Paris. From there, our investigation will begin in earnest. Good evening, gents. The fare to Paris is 1 franc. Thank you. Please take your seats in the coach. Visiting Dupin's home was not without excitement. I could have sworn that I was being watched at one point, and just before I left, a stone flew through the window and destroyed the vase belonging to Dupin. After that, I learned I was headed for Paris. I can only imagine what's in store for us there. Dupin's involvement in this case is interesting. He was not contacted concerning his assistance, but he has never been someone to turn down his challenge. Fortunately, I was able to pay the coach driver with the coin I found in Dupin's home. You never know when something you find will come in handy later. I imagine the coachman will need this map. Let us reconstruct it for him. Ik moet van die muziek in slaap vallen. You need to cross this river, but the bridge is raised. See what you can do. On our trip to Paris, upon striking the walkway with a pickaxe, we discovered an unusual lock piece. Odd that it was hidden in such a way. I've taken it with me, assuming my finding is not simply a coincidence. We shall see, we shall see, we shall see. Eh. Jules Mingo, bank of the firm. Strange. These things belong to the banker, but would he have simply leave them behind? We should pay this banker a visit as soon as possible. He seems to have left in quite a hurry. En Bob stond op een toetsenbord. Hello, gentlemen. How can I be of service? Good evening to you. We are investigating the murder of Madame L'Espagne. I see. It's truly horrible what has befallen the poor woman. I've read about it in the evening paper. We thought as much. We discovered your belongings near the bridge just outside of town. You must have left suddenly. Indeed, the account of the murder has left me quite on edge. And there is also the disappearance of Mademoiselle Camille Espagne, Madame's sister. Do you know perhaps if Mademoiselle Espagne was in the house during the murder? Yes, she was. In fact, I had just accompanied her home before evening happened. I'm worried, however, how the bank will be viewed in the light of these events. Did Madame keep her money here? Yes, 8 years ago, she opened an account at this bank. Since then, she made frequent deposits, but always in small amounts. Nee, nee, laat mijn kabels maar rust. What is more, she never made any substantial withdrawals. But just 3 days ago, she withdrew 4,000 francs in person. She also had her gold assets delivered to her home via courier. And Madame L'Espagne maintained a deposit book here as well. May we look around the presents? We do so with the utmost discretion. By all means. Arriving at the bank, we met with Jules Minon. His concern for the case became immediately apparent when we learned that poor Madame L'Espagne had kept some money here and just days ago took a sum of 4,000 francs. Was she blackmailed? Did she know she was in danger? There must be a reason for someone to take out such a large sum at a time like this. Pardon. Ja, dat stond wel heel goed verstopt. Wat zeg je van mijn doen, Bob? De eerste keer dat het gelukt is. Holy hell. Het is werkelijk een van de eerste keer dat dat gelukt is. Maar nee, Bob, dat is niet voor u voor te spelen. Top. Ah, ja. Bob, hou op. Ja, dat is oké. He likes gold. Splendid, take your time. Banks are not without their secrets. In what we imagined was Monsieur's Migon's office, we discovered an elaborate safe hidden behind a curtain. The safe itself is a chasing after Dupin's own heart, as it isn't simply locked with a key, but with a puzzle. However, it's missing a button. We need to find it. Such an effort to guard something most note of its importance, certainly. Ik heb geen kloot. Een lever. Nou, hier. A rag has been found. Nou. 22-32. Surprisingly enough, all that was to be found inside the safe was a simple key. Venturing a guess, we decided to visit the deposit box room, wherein we found a code associated with Madame L'Espagne. Turns out that it's to her personal deposit box. The corroboration this corroborates Monsieur Mignon's story of a recent visit. Perhaps the contents of Madame L'Espagne's deposit box will give us our next clue. Surely she kept more in here than simple money. 22, 32. Eric L'Espagne. I would wager that this is the son of our missing Madame Camille L'Espagne. Strange that the paper never mentioned him. We should venture to find him. Perhaps he can tell us something. Let's pay a visit to the gendarmerie. Good evening, gentlemen. Is there anything I can do for you? We are investigating the death of Madame L'Espagne. Have you any new evidence that could be of assistance? Yes, I believe I do. We found little Eric L'Espagne hiding under the stairs at the scene of the crime. We believe he was there all night, perhaps witnessed the murder. Bonjour. The poor boy is only 5 years old, and with his mother missing, he is quite distressed. Please help me find my mother, sir. I miss her. Please don't worry, Eric. We will find your mother and reunite you with her. Be strong, my boy. From the bank, we made our way to the police station at Dupin's suggestion. There we met with the constable as well as the son of late Madame L'Espagne's sister, Eric. So his nephew. Besides the death of Madame L'Espagne, we must also investigate the whereabouts of her sister, the lack of which has little Eric quite distressed. We also found a safe with 2 doors, one of which we cannot open yet, as is missing a valve handle. Okay. Ah, hier is een klap. Zijn piep, zijn paanpiep. Dat is geen cucumber, dat is een augurk. Well. Upon further search of the room, we found a very large sum of money in a nondescript bag near the constable's desk. It seemed rather strange for such a large amount of coinage to be in the personal possession of a constable. Everything matters, Dupin likes to say. Also, once having opened the safe in the room, we found a second odd-looking lock piece, identical to the one before. The mind begins to wonder. Ew. Waar is dat een bos heeft een pistool? Ja, nee, dat had ik nog niet gevonden. We entered the cell of the aforementioned station, and I must say we weren't surprised at what we found. Cold, dark, vermin infested, just the kind of place you accept, expect to find a criminal. What's more, we found the lock to this home of the two small lock pieces we previously found. My. What the hell? What? We found a message tube hidden within a rotting leaf of brood. Someone went out of his way to hide it here. What secrets might it hold? We need to find a way to open it. Upon the floor were found 4 Napoleons, an earring of topaz, 3 large silver spoons, 3 smaller metal d'angle, and 2 bags containing nearly 4,000 francs in gold. The drawers of a bureau which stood in one corner were open and had been apparently rifled through, although many articles still remained in them. A small iron safe was discovered under the bed, not under the bedstead. It was open, with the key still in the door. It had no contents beyond a few old letters, and old papers of little consequence. Of Mademoiselle Camille L'Espagne, no traces were seen. Ja, wacht. Kunnen we hier waarschijnlijk insteken? Oppenheimer restaurateur. This witness volunteered his testimony. Not speaking French, was examined through an interpreter. Is a native of Amsterdam. This Parisian Germanderij, little information of use to us. They really rarely look beyond the obvious in their investigations. They are fond of making a big show of their efforts, but what they turn up is rarely more than public knowledge. We should go meet with Monsieur Odenheimer now. Welcome to my restaurants, good sirs. Good evening, Monsieur Ottenheimer. We're here on the trail of Madame L'Espagne's killer. May we speak with you? Of course, this murder has frightened the townspeople greatly. They will not leave their homes. The frightening populace does not make for good business, I'm afraid. Sorry, Unfortunately, I don't have anything to offer other than my own compliments. I don't believe this Ottenheimer fellow is telling us all he knows. We need to loosen his lips. Hidden within the tube was police report of Monsieur Ottenheimer, a native of Amsterdam who works at a nearby restaurant. Allee, het is laat. Ja, sorry, ja. Maar Bob lag hier op mijn dingen en ik... Zo. I think the next leg of our journey begins with him. Name of the witness, Isidore Mozet, gendarme, local citizen of Paris. I was alerted around 3 a.m. of the incident. I had to break the lock to enter the residence. I heard a terrible scream coming from upstairs. and then it fell deadly silent. It was a scream of horror, of fear, then nothing. Additionally, I heard some very loud bellowing that I could not identify the gender or nationality of. Meeting Monsieur Ottenheimer, his appearance appreciation was apparent. What he does know and why is he so hesitant to share it with us? A glass of wine should calm him down and loosen his lips, and a new bottle of wine will most certainly need bottle opener. Dat is een bun volgens hun. It's non-serve English. Oh. Hoeveel verschillen moet ik nog hebben? As I passed the L'Espagne home, I could clearly hear a woman screaming. As I got closer, I made out two voices. The second voice belonged to a man who spoke in French. I didn't catch his word, but his voice was very rough. I'm afraid that's all I know. Pauline Dubois, the L'Espagne's laundress, may be able to help you more. Thank you for your cooperation. Let's see as if this Pauline Dubois can shed some more light on this case. Monsieur Dupin, what brings you to see me? You are attempting to bring justice to the death of Madame L'Espagne. What can you tell me of her? I've been Madame Laundress for 3 years. The garments she brought in were always very expensive. May we look around your shop, Madame? I'd be glad to get out of your way if I could get back to work, but I'm out of soap to wash these clothes. Thank you very much. I will be going back to my work now. After he was able to relax, Oppenheimer told us that he overheard screaming coming from the Rue Morgue the night of the murder. What's more, he says he distinctly heard two voices. Who was the other voice? Oppenheimer said it was that of a man and that he was French. Oppenheimer, restaurateur, citizen of Amsterdam. I was passing by the house when I heard screaming coming from the upstairs window. I entered the house and heard a male voice. French, I believe. That's all I know. Perhaps you could speak with Pauline Dubois de l'Espagne's laundress. We visit the laundry lady at the behest of Monsieur Oppenheimer. A stout woman, she has been doing Madame L'Espagne's laundry for the past 3 years. Also, she told us that Madame L'Espagne was a fortune teller who was quite handsomely paid for her service. After that, she gave us permission to search the premises with the exchange with a bar of soap. Once again, Dupin's teaching of attention to details have been justified in this instance. Ja, ik snap niet waarom dat deze niet telt. Ik ga heel even mijn gordijn dicht doen, want het begint koud te krijgen.
Hey everyone.
Ik denk dat ik nog niet alles heb. Teruggaan. De rest eens bekijken. Oké. 45300F. 45300F. Een sleutel. Ah, daar lag hem. Nou. Er is toch niks als opgaan? Redelijk obscuur zijn en als ik het eenmaal heb, dan is het zo van, ah ja. Logisch. Nog vinden. Dat was nu gewoon een massieve. As we searched the room, we found a strange code apparently used on the gas register. Curious, using a gas register to lock something away inside. Almost like hiding something in plain sight. I'll give it a try. What we found next really amazed me. In all my years, I've never seen a lock fashioned after an owl. Once opened, it was hidden. What was hidden behind amazed us yet again. A simple, unassuming blue tile sitting upon a ruby pillow was all that was kept safe behind such a unique lock. Why would such a lock be in so a humble place as a laundry? Un petit papillon. Zeer unassuming. Hey. Moet je naar beneden, Bob? Kut. En zo. Loop maar. Ja, moet bij mij binnen blijven zitten. En hij is terug hier. Want boven mag hem niet gaan zitten, omdat de bovenbuur weg is. Dus ja, dan moet hij hier beneden bij mij blijven zitten. En dat kan hem nogal met energie over blijven zitten. Dus dan doe ik gewoon de tussengang open. En ja, dan kan hem een beetje de trapjes op en aflopen. Dan is hij gerust. Gelukkig, ik ben gerust voor de rest van de avond. Een tassel. Gewoon niet op de grond. Gewoon niet op de grond, maar ik zie het niet. Zou het misschien dit hier zijn geweest? Ik had de plate nog niet. Tadaa, plate. Aha. Valve. A ball? The laundress mentions Madame L'Espagne expensive garments. Perhaps a trip to the local boutique is in order. It seems no one is here. We should use this to advantage and have a look around. Oops. Kijk, ik zie er één al. En een tweede. Oké, ik had daar geen bloem in gezien. Sorry, ja. dit niet de code? Impressive, this wardrobe was more than it seems. It appears to open out to the street across from the Rue Morgue. Upon further inspection of the premises, we found a small metallic ball at the bottom of a wash tube in the back room. We will hold on to it for later. We arrived at the salon next, which is situated just across the street from the scene of the crime. To our surprise, the building was empty. I wonder at Dupin's suggestion. Of this location in the search, though I'm sure his reasoning is sound. During our search, we happened upon a wardrobe with a most bizarre lock. It's missing two pieces, and looks like the blue square we found earlier would work here. Whereas the blue tile was hidden away in most bizarre fashion, the green tile was simply sitting in an empty dresser drawer, as though completely forgotten. Time to open up the wardrobe. 6 hours after we opened the lock, it revealed a secret staircase out of the building, which led us right in front of the L'Espagne residence. Even at a moment like this, when we're so close to the truth, Dupin seemed unmoved. His mind only focused on details and logic. We are close. Let us not waste any more time. We should enter Rue Morgue immediately. Oops. Allee, ik zag iets voor op te doen. Tune. Nog meer. Our investigation has finally led us to where it all began, wherein poor Madame L'Espagne lost her life. I can only hope our efforts will not be in vain, and that justice will be brought upon those responsible for such a horrible act. We need to search every nook and cranny of the residence, top to bottom. We mustn't miss a single detail. The truth rests on our ability to discern it. Towards the back of the foyer, we are met with another intricate lock, missing one piece that would need to be found. As we venture deeper in the home, we happen across a beautiful stained glass door, yet it was locked to us. On further investigation, it looks as though the lock is based on weight. En ik heb weer al uit dat dingen geklikt. Secondje. Oké. Nee. Climbing the stairs to the second floor, we found the missing button from the lock downstairs, hidden within the drawer. After we finish up our investigation of the second floor, we'll head back downstairs and see where the door leads us to. Weet je? Het doorchime. Nou, ik niet. Zet een stoel dichterbij. What? In one of the rooms, in one of the second floor's many rooms, we found a lonely fishbowl. Beneath the bowl, guild residence was a ball bearing. Why it was there, I haven't got a clue, but if Dupin noticed it, it's worth taking notice of. Oh, sorry. Hmm. 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 Nice. After finding the missing piece of the lock at the back of the stairwell and solving its puzzle, the door opened to yet another room. At first glance, it appears to be a small study. It's also not nearly as elegant as the rest of the rooms, and it looks like it needs a good cleaning. Ja, maar dat zijn toch allemaal bags? Die kan dat. Het zal satchels zijn. Ja, pepper. Ik was niet anders aan het denken als pepper. Dus een peppershaker. Dat lijkt me toch nog. Ik zie ook geen hidden stashes waar dat mijn ding dan verstopt hebben. Ah, daaronder. Ik heb het nog niet gevonden. Wat is dat? Oeh, daar hebben we iets voor. Some acid. This case becomes more curious by the moment. In the study we found a rather unassuming clock residing on top of a dresser. On its side, however, there was a very ornate plate fastened with both screws and nuts. After removing it, we found the clock mechanism protected behind glass. After breaking the glass, we found a breaker of acid. Why would anyone hide acid in such a place? Is het niet deze weer? Iron glove. Yes. We use the asset to eat away at the lock at the backs of the study. Therein we found another large metallic ball. It's very similar, if not exactly like the one we found previous at our laundress. I'm sure they will both serve the same purpose. En als voor deze deur te openen. Dat is toch zo'n rond ding dat je normaal aan je deur hangt, hè? Zie ik dat nu zo uit over? Eigenlijk, als je er nu zo over moet houden, dan zou er een definitie moeten komen of gebruikt in een zin. Ja, want ik denk dat ik iets van het verkeerd aan het vertalen ben. Nee, toch niet? After we opened the door at the back of the hallway on the first floor, which emptied out in a lovely sitting room, we found a small brass bell. I recall seeing a mount for the jam upstairs. Perhaps this is where the bell belonged. Good evening, sir. Were you here the night Madame L'Espagne was killed? Indeed I was, but I take medication to help me sleep, so I'm afraid I heard nothing. However, perhaps I can still be of help. I'm a doctor. Do you have any evidence you'd like me to look at? What? Dan iets gemist. Het enige dat ik kan missen is hier in huis nog iets, hè? Yes. After our investigation continued, we discovered the first piece of forensic evidence. On the stairwell we found traces of blood, scratches, and a hair sample. Further tests are required to ascertain their significance. Once we placed the door jam upstairs, we made the acquaintance of a doctor who is renting out one of the rooms in the Rue Morgue. He said that he takes medication to help him sleep at night and that he heard nothing of the screams that marked the last moments of Madame L'Espagne. His life. A pity, really. However, he's a doctor and not without his uses. Upon giving him the blood sample from the stairs below, he gave us permission to search his room. Sorry. Ik had er iets heel anders gelezen. Hmm. Toch hier? Hmm. Heb ik nu... Ja. Oké, ik had het door. Finally, we arrived at the scene of poor Madame L'Espagne's demise. After opening another Indian's lock adorned with the visage of a wolf, we began to thoroughly examine every nook and cranny of the room. Left it as it is just after the attack, it's obvious there were quite a struggle. Broken glass, overturned furniture, paintings destroyed. Whoever killed Madame Espana was not quiet about it. Shit. Hier van achter. Oké. Sigaar en broodje nog. Nu de sigaar. Oh, daar. It would appear as though nothing has been taken from this room, so we can rule out robbery as the motive. What's most disturbing is the state of the room. Whoever attacked Madame L'Espagne did it so with unimaginable strength. She wouldn't have stood a chance. I don't believe anyone would have. The state of her room suggests her attacker was single-minded and unshakable. What kind of person do you picture in your mind based on this? Certainly no common criminal. And what of the hair in Madame's hand? It does not look natural. As we searched the room, a few objects stood out that we have decided to take with us. A microscope with that, seashell, and a piece of glass. While I understand scientific equipment, what use is a seashell? When I asked it, Dupin gave me a quiet grin. I have to start thinking like he does. He asked me what I pictured of the killer in my mind as we finish up our search. Regardless of appearance, whoever it is, they are a danger and needs to be captured. Hmm. Uh, this type of soul can only be found in Bois de Boulogne. We should head there immediately. Early morning in Bois de Boulogne, a huge uh, Papa was caught, the kind that can be Papa the island Bruno. It will be returned to its owner. They say he is the sailor from the Maltese ship, on conditions of the owner's proof and identity, and compensation of the cost of the animal shipping, catching, and keeping. Refer to the address 4 Liberty Street in Saint Germain suburb. Gator? Oh, bottom. After examining the evidence collected in Madame L'Espagne's room, Dupin noted that some soil was found within a shell in Madame's room, resembled the soil in Bois de Boulogne. It is a park on the 16th arrondissement of Paris. Knowing this, we left the Rue Morgue for Bois de Boulogne, with all due haste. Hmm. Hier. Nog. Hmm. 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 Duplex is the name of a ship. We have in our possession two objects belonging to one of our crew, and one is covered in blood. We should visit the docks, find the duplex. Upon our arrival, we noticed a solitary windmill. Finding it unlocked, we went inside hoping for our next clue. As we looked about, we came across both a shaving razor and a kettle, both with the word duplex written on them. However, also whoever is the resident of the windmill is an avid hunter. The walls were adorned with the heads of the animals that the person had a better gotten the better of. I took a moment to take a sample of the hair from the mounted heads at the Dupin insistence. What relevance this had, I don't know yet. Dupin has informed me that the word duplex is the name of a ship at the port here in Paris. We took the items bearing its name with us and headed for the docks. I feel as though we're nearing the end of our journey. I only hope it ends with our finding the lost Mademoiselle Camille L'Espagne and the apprehending of her sister's killer. Hello, who are you? Mademoiselle, we are relieved to find you alive. Are you alright? Aside from a few cracked edges, the owner of this ship saved me from the monster in the cage behind me. A monster? Surely it is not a monster, my dear. It was a gorilla. A gorilla. It belongs to the sailor who rescued me. He tended to my wounds and left shortly thereafter. I understand. Sure he will return. In the meantime, go and search his ship. Try to rest, mademoiselle. Thank you for looking for me. Thank goodness. Upon entering the interior of the duplex, we found Mademoiselle Camille L'Espagne alive and well, if not in need of a bath. As it turns out, she was attacked by a gorilla that belonged to the owner of the duplex. When he found her, he brought her back along with the gorilla. She has been here ever since then. Now we await the sailor's return, so we may question him. Nou ja. Ew. Good heavens, I can see why Mademoiselle referred to this beast as a monster. As I neared its cage, the gorilla became crazed, thrashing about against the bars. It would be wise to give this creature a wide berth, even in the cage. Ik zal nog niet met mama. Maar dan heb ik zo... Hmm. 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 Allee. Monkey picture. Hmm. So it would seem that the hair we found at the crime scene belongs to that of the gorilla. Who are you? Why are you on my boat? Sir, I hope you're planning to tell me what happened to Madame L'Espagne in the Rue Morgue. I don't know anything. Calm yourself. We know it wasn't you who killed her. However, it's more than obvious that you know who did. A woman is dead, another is injured and presumed lost, and a boy is without his mother. Please tell us what you know. I will tell you if you return my rose to me. Alright, I tell you the truth. Listen. I had recently sailed to Borneo, where, while there, I was able to capture a gorilla who I planned to sell here in Paris. Having come back from an errand here in the port, I found the gorilla out of his cage. When it saw me, it ran off. I ran after it in the direction of the Rue Morgue. He seemed to notice the light from Madame's bedroom window. It climbed to the window in seconds, entered her room. I tried to follow the same way. When I reached her room, the gorilla was holding Madame, with her sister unconscious on the floor. Madame's screams must have provoked the beast, as it killed her with one blow to the head. I tried to stop him. After that, the beast ransacked the room in a rage and jumped out the window. Then I brought Mademoiselle here. What about my son? Where is he? Is he safe? Do not fear, mademoiselle. Your son is safe. He waits for you. It seems that the man's voice that Oppenheimer heard was that of the sailors. The sailor was exonerated by the gendarmerie and later sold the gorilla to the Gardien de Plantes. Thank you, my friend, for your invalid assistance in this case. I look forward to working with you again. Congratulations to the bonus game.
Hm. Ik weet niet of hier echt een verhaal achter zit. Oh, ja, heb ik niet gezien. Nu nog een ster. Hey. Ik weet eigenlijk gezegd niet of dat dit... Oei. Hoe meent je dat? Black cat. For the most wild yet most homely narrative which I'm about to pen, I neither accept nor solicit belief. Mad indeed would I be to expect it, in a case where my very senses reject their own evidence. Yet mad I am not. And sincerely I do not dream. But tomorrow I die, and then today I would unburden my soul. Two nine seven. Kens. Dat is gewoon. Daar hangt nummer 2. 2, 9, 7, 1. Nee, ik dacht ik al wel. Ja, moet hier nog iets vinden. Die is terug. Soundtrack. Nee? Ah, ik kan alleen maar saven. Okay. Pluto. Ja, dus dat is de volgende aflevering. Normaal gezien, ik geloof dat ik deze gespeeld heb. Nee, vroeger, heel vroeger. Ik ga eens even zien hoe dat staat in mijn documenten. Documenten openen. Hoe lang is dat? 20 pagina's. Ga ik niet voorlezen. Echt niet, want het is ook allemaal Engels. Ik ga dat op mijn gemak eens later lezen. Voorlopig zeg ik tegen jullie: like, subscribe en tot de volgende. Bye bye.